Finally, ladies and gentlemen, finally, we have come to a new chapter. Today, the news just broke that Manchester United and Greenwood have parted ways. Manchester United and Greenwood are no more a thing. I just gotta say, the moral relief now, that we've been waiting for. Man United has grown a pair of balls finally and made a decision. And us fans, we don't have to now question, we don't have to deal with all the negativity and all the external, pressure and everything that was going to come with this. The fact that Man United was considering this and the reports last week were leading towards, oh, Mason is coming back. All that has been put to rest. We can now stop speculating. We can now, because the court of public opinion has been really crazy. The court of public opinion has been incredible. Now, we just have to now move on without Mason Greenwood. I mean, the question is it the right decision? Will Man United regret it later? Will we see 2 years from now Mason Greenwood back in the Premier League? Or what's going to happen? Or back at Man United? Who knows? But let's just go ahead and touch on a little bit of he wrote a statement. Man United wrote a statement. Richard Arnold wrote a letter. It's all coming out. It's pandemonium. Big up to you, Kenny. Kenny in the building. Kenny Fan TV says, big up, right decision, but should have made the decision ages ago. Kenny, it's like you are reading my mind. The main frustration with me for this is just the fact that the hesitation was so appalling. This case has been going on for a long time. This decision should have been made a long time ago. We should have had a Mason Greenwood replacement right now. We are past match day 2. And only now we're going to start scratching our head and being like, oh, yeah, who's supposed to replace Greenwood again? It's a poor run administration, Kenny. I totally agree with you. Let's just quickly touch on the statements are really long. I'm not going to read all the letters. No way. There's no chance. But there's a couple of things that have just kind of drawn my attention. First of all, the Greenwood statement, as per Fabrizio, Greenwood says, I want to start by saying I understand that people will judge me because of what they have seen and heard on social media, and I know people will think the worst. I was brought up to know that violence or abuse in any relationship is wrong. I did not do the things I was accused of, and in February, I was cleared of all charges. Okay. However, I fully accept I made mistakes in my relationship, and I take my share of responsibility for the situations which led to the social media post. So you would behaving in a way that led to the social media post. Is that what that sentence is saying? So you fully accept that you made mistakes in your relationship, and I take my share of responsibility for the situations that led to the social media post. Okay, Greenwood, I am learning to understand my responsibilities to set a good example as a professional footballer, and I'm focused on the big responsibility of being a father as well as a good partner. Today's decision has been part of a collaborative process between Manchester United, my family, and me. The decision best for us all is for me to continue my football career away from Old Trafford, where my presence will not be a distraction for the club. I thank the club for their support since I joined age 7. There will always be a part of me which is United. Now, okay. We've been crying for this. We've been saying part ways. It's best for everybody. Look at this. This is. I think on one hand is Man United reading the room and being like, okay, this is not how we had anticipated things, and this is not how we have calculated. And now we are actually reading the room and being like, a little bit in touch with reality. So on one hand, you got to applaud Man United for that. But also, it's like, why did it take so long? Yao says, not sure about this one, but at least the drama is over. At least we can sigh with some relief. Realist says it's best case for both parties, if we being honest. It's if you can just think about the not sober rival fan who's going to be, using this as just even a weapon, morality aside, if you just put just imagine all the other situations where rival fans are chanting. It's just like, it puts teammates in awkward positions when they're asked about this, in public. It's just like, even if you want to be Mason's friend, and support him and try and help him become a better person, it's just unnecessary drama and tension that we do not need. So is the feeling that I can honestly say. It's just like a little bit of a relief that we finally turned a leaf. Now, the thing that I want to bring focus to real quick is the words from Richard Arnold, because he wrote a longer letter. I'm not going to read that one, but the part that I want to focus on is, so this man, Richard Arnold, says, blah, 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 the decision is concluded, blah, 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 blah. And I'm paraphrasing. It's on the Man United website. Matter of fact, let me just share it right now, so, you can also take a look at what I'm looking at. So Richard Arnold goes on to say, when audio footage and imagery was posted online in 2002, my feelings were of shock and concern for the alleged victim. Her welfare, wishes, and perspectives have been central to the club's approach ever since, as have the club's standards and values. Okay, cool. Now, our investigation sought to collate as much evidence as possible to establish facts and context. This was not a quick, straightforward process for a variety of reasons. He explains the reason why, we had limited powers in the investigation. We're not the police, et cetera, et cetera. But the part that is striking is that while we were unable to assess certain evidence for reasons we respect, the evidence we did collate led us to conclude that Mason did not commit the acts he was charged with. I am restricted as to what I can say for legal reasons, including the alleged victim's ongoing right to anonymity, but I'm able to share the following, which should give you some insight into the complexity of the case. So the victim requested the charges to be dropped. That clears out a lot of the conversations we've had about, no, it's the prosecution that couldn't, this right here just sets the record straight, right? It just puts it into perspective. Like that's from the victim who requested that. Okay. The alleged victim family participated in the process and were given an opportunity to review and correct our factual findings. So you have findings that were also not factual. That's what that is admitting. Okay. Last week, the media reported that we had decided to reintegrate Mason Greenwood, blah, 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 blah. And the reintegration was one of the outcomes we considered and planned for. And, this is the thing where, like, there was that rumor that Richard Arnold had recorded a video explaining why he wants Mason Greenwood back. I wonder if that video will ever be leaked, because right now, this man, the way he handled this, it should have just been quick, efficient, decisive, and then it helps everybody move on. It helps everybody be able to Greenwood to be able to rehabilitate. Because I'll touch on this. KG said this, which really I felt was such a big point. He has the opportunity to be a champion for women's abuse, for domestic abuse, he can be an ambassador. He can bring more light. He has the opportunity right now to literally be an advocate and be a beacon for change. Greenwood, you better use this. You better use this in a positive way. You better use this to build yourself and make yourself a better person and help many other victims around the world, because you have the stage, and this decision right here is symbolic, because it shows to any younger player out there now that your actions have consequences. You have to be able to, think about what it is that you're doing every time you're doing it. Even the moments when you are behind closed doors. Your actions matter, whether you're famous, whether you're not famous. This is also for all the discussions we've had about it as fans, rival fans, as Man United fans. It was a moment where some people didn't even know about all the victims of abuse, the statistics that we've touched on some of the conversations. Some people didn't know about a thing called Stockholm syndrome, and now everybody's a little bit more educated, and the education does not stop here. This is where I'm trying to land my point. The education does not stop here. And for you, Greenwood, the rehabilitation does not stop here. It starts now. That we've heard your voice in public. Well, you're in writing, but this is an opportunity now for all of us to be able to now come together as a family and support each other, because we need to be able to be mindful and empathize and know that, there are people out there that are facing these situations on a daily. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I have to ask you, we have lost a generational talent at Man United, but, will the club regret this? Because at the end of the day, the name is right there. That's the man who made the decision, and that's the man who's handled this whole saga. Richard Arnold. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Let me go to Kenny. Kenny says, at least this drama is over and we can move on. That's the major situation from this. Sylvester says, so unforgiving generation we are. I hope he rises again and becomes the best version of a football player and a human being too, Sylvester, that's where I'm at with it. The footballing, I don't think it's going to go down. I think the footballing is going to, if anything, he's been practicing and it's just a matter of time, 6 months, back in competitive football, we'll start seeing that talent coming back and showing itself on the pitch. But right now, this is what everybody needed. Imagine the Ten Hag press match conferences if Greenwood was back. Now, back to business. We need to get more players in and out. Exactly. Let's get this transfer window closed in the right way, Man United. We need to find the Greenwood replacement. Shout out to Erd, but there's a lot of new people in the house. I gotta just say I appreciate you guys so much. Please make sure that you subscribe and become a part of the family. As this was just a little quick update video. I didn't mean to make it this long at all. Edward, by the way, big up to you, Sylvester as well, and Kenny and Realist. Edward says racism at its highest point. The state court found him not guilty of the charges leveled against him, but the club did. What a drama. At one point, you can, I understand your opinion, Edward, but I don't think this has anything to do with race, my friend. This has more to do with gender-based violence and what the significance of it is, and the right moral decision to take. I think whether the court of justice did its job or not, we have to take a moral decision. And Erbert, I understand your opinion, my brother, but Greenwood now has the opportunity to go play his football elsewhere. His life is not doomed. He'll still have some bread in the bank. Jarvis in the building saying, "Hey up, I'm feeling confused. The statement was totally inconclusive." For me, Jarvis, it was that. The fact that they went to some lengths of explaining things that don't seem to be, what Richard Arnold saying that he's not, if you really break it down, Richard Arnold is saying that this guy is not guilty, but also, we're not going to stand by. If somebody's not guilty and he's been there from the age 7, you would do everything to try and protect him, right? I don't know. There's a little bit of like the statement is a little confusing, Jarvis. I totally agree with you. There's something about it that's vague. and realist, yes, it's free like the stream. What I don't understand is Arnold's statement saying Mason did not commit the acts he was charged with, but Greenwood can't stay. Who is protecting who? Greenwood, the club, or yo? There is something in here that smells fishy. There is something in here that looks a little sus. And I don't know if you can see it, but that's how my reaction to Richard Arnold's statement. But my feeling is that of relief. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you feel the same way. I hope you feel the same way. If you don't, I want to know why. I still want to know why. Kush is in the building, says the court of public opinion have already found him guilty, so United had no choice. They wanted to, but then they were like, we already have Glazer protests. So these guys are going to come together and it's going to be even a bigger crowd. Let's just avoid the fire. Which you should have made a decision like that a long time ago, but also that should not be the basis of your decision. You know, it's like we've moved on. But hey, man, the way we got there, it's a little suspect. Ladies and gentlemen, Mason Greenwood leaves Man United today. And it is a brand new chapter. I am looking forward to finding the Mason Greenwood replacement, because once this, now that we can put this behind us, we have to move on to our transfers. We have to get Richard Arnold focused on the right things and not writing long ass statements like that. You know, we have to move on now. And hopefully he does not play for an Italian team and scores against us, because, oh Lord. The last report that the last update that I'll read from United Plug says MUFC insists their plan was never to delegate the Mason Greenwood decision to their female players, but they did wish to give the team prior notice and the opportunity for feedback. The women's team included players who were fiercely opposed to his return, but the sentiment was not overwhelming. Some female players worried about their long-term prospects at the club in the event they kicked up too much of a fuss. That's the Athletic saying that. For me, like, if you're making your decision conducting a referendum and being like, okay, let's start from the cooks, let's go to the custodian. Man, come on. You are in charge. You have to make the decision. You know, this is not one of those where you gotta go ahead on a democracy fair and ask people, what do you feel? What, you know? I understand. You know, it's a very tough decision, by the way, of Richard Arnold that he's been in. You know, it's like, you know, but at the same time, there is a ruthlessness that's needed when you're in that type of leadership position. There's a certain decisiveness that you have to have. And Richard Arnold, this case for me exemplified that. Nah, this is Mr. Indecisive. This is Mr. Not reading the room. And then fortunately, there was a little bit of that backlash that they faced last week, and then they reacted to that. But the saga has now ended. That is the update for this morning. Oh, all the best to you, Mason Greenwood. You have the chance to go be an advocate. You have the chance to go change the world now. Go ahead and do it. Kenny says, big up Jarvis in the chat. Jarvis is the big one. CM, hey, blessings to you, CM. Are you doing Arsenal watch along, puppy, says Kenny? I actually want to. I have something that is that I have to attend to right at the beginning of the game, but hopefully it finishes like just before the game starts. So if I do it, it will be a late one, like 15 minutes into the game or something. I heard Amrabat deal off. Is it true? Kenny, the Amrabat deal like majorly depends on Donny van de Beek. It depends on we have to now have outgoings, but I guess Mason Greenwood isn't outgoing. Somebody got to fill Mason Greenwood's parking spot. Somebody, you know what I mean? So we have to, I'm strongly feeling like there is going to be a little bit of a expedited, reinforcement that we were not expecting at the end of this transfer window. Super Nick in the building says, I'm absolutely fuming. I see what the owner and CEOs are ruining the club, and I don't know if I can support the foolishness anymore. Yo, Super Nick, it's Richard Arnold foolishness. CM says, Arnold showcases why once again the owners have contributed to this club becoming an absolute disgrace in the way it's operated. They really handle this in the wrong way. Thank you. They didn't address the issue with the information they had to give the fans assurance that they were in control of the situation. Not in the slightest bit, Super Nick. Anyway, at least the days are gone now where we don't have to focus on this topic anymore. We can now give the number 11 shirt to somebody. Let's go. Who should take the number 11 shirt? We should go for that guy in Napoli, Kivicha. Please, Man United, give us a surprise signing. You always do it. Well, not always, but you usually do like a really, really unexpected surprise signing in a summer transfer window. So I'm waiting. Other clubs around us have spent over 100 mil this transfer window. Have we? Like on one player, I mean, there's that the Caicedo, the Arsenals, the Chelseas, they've all spent. I need my 100 mil plus player this transfer window. Go splurge, the United. Javin says, we were provided with alternative explanations for the audio recordings, which was a short excerpt from a much longer recording, and for the images posted online. So there's an explanation. No, Jarvis. So this actually, that's what I was going to say while I was having a private discussion about this, and it was more like, bro, the only way this would make sense if the recording was like they were like what's the word? Acting. And then somebody cut out the part where they say, all right, let's play the, you know what I mean? Because there was no way that recording, that clip, come on, man. We're not kids, man. We're not kids. Like, what other extra things did they say prior to that can justify what we heard? I just cannot imagine it. But then they're going to go ahead and be like, oh, this information is an explanation. Nah. We're not buying it. Number 11 has become a bad omen. Nobody should take the number 11 shirt then. We should just... ashes to ashes this year. Oh, Lord. Well, we know that Antony dos Santos now can breathe a little bit. Well, maybe not Antony. Pelestri can breathe a little bit, Ahmad, he can focus on his recovery now, and hopefully, come on, somebody got to go clean that right-hand side. Haaland can also breathe a little bit because, Haaland was also, that center forward position, we need to make sure we're looking at a long-term investment. The question is, who's that going to be? That's why I'm on this 100 million player signing theory. We have to have a signing for this transfer window. Guys, I need to be out of here. Big up to y'all for tuning in. Big up to y'all for sharing and your opinions and thoughts about this and your concerns. And I really, really appreciate it. Please, let's keep them on going in the comment section. Man United, have you made a mistake? And also, Greenwood, what are you going to do with your newly found lease of life now that you can go play football somewhere else? I'm really curious. We will be watching his how it all unfolds. Big up. We out of here. Kenny, peace. We can breathe now that number 11 is gone. Sheesh.